Hey there, I'm Tyler Lunsford, and you're watching a review of Orko Guha's Godly Vanish 2.0. What is up, you people? My name is Tyler Lunsford, and welcome back to another magic trick review here on the channel. Now, if you're new here, then definitely please consider subscribing and take a look around the channel at past reviews. Now, if you are new here, then thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate you just spending some time today. You didn't have to do it, so thank you for that. It really does mean the world to me that people actually watch the stuff I make, so thank you so much for that. Now, without further ado, I don't want to waste any more time talking. Let's get into a review of the Godly Vanish 2.0 right now. First off, you need to know what actually is Godly Vanish 2.0. Well, if you're unfamiliar with Godly Vanish in general, if you didn't see Will Tsai's video that he put out, and then another person put out a Godly Vanish. Now, I'm not going to try to pronounce that name because I will butcher it. Now, this man, Orko Guha, has put out a new version of the Godly Vanish. Now, this comes with 3 different ways to perform the Godly Vanish, and I'm going to talk about all 3 of them throughout this review. The Godly Vanish is basically having a card in your hand and moving your hand up as the card disappears. The card then disappears and you can show your hands clean depending on which version you're doing. The variations I'm talking about are one that deals with you performing seated at a table, another one that is strictly for social media videos, and then a third that's more for in real life performances if you're going to be performing this outside in the real world. What will you be receiving if you decide to purchase the Godly Vanish 2.0? Well, this is an instant download, so you're going to be getting a downloadable video online you can watch, and it's going to be a little over 11 minutes long that you learn these variations. On the download, you also learn how to construct your gimmick because not all of these are gimmickless. Some of them are, but not all of them are. Now that you know what the Godly Vanish 2.0 is and what you'll be receiving, let's talk more in depth about some questions you may have, such as how difficult is this to do? The actual Vanish itself is actually really easy to do. You can do this within, I'd say, probably 20-30 minutes worth of practice. You'll have this down and you can go out and perform this. Now, the social media version is actually really easy. That's barely any skill required. You basically have to manage your angles for that. Which brings me to my next question, how are the angles? The angles are dependent upon which variation you're going to do. So if you're doing the first one where you're seated at a table, that's going to be 180 degrees, have your audience in front of you. If you're doing the second one, which is strictly for social media, that's probably going to be about 30-40 degrees just because you'll have your camera set in place and you won't have to worry about your angles then because it's a camera, but 30 to 40 degrees for that one. And then finally, the third variation where you perform this in real life is probably more like 180-200 depending on where you're at, because they also might hear something or see something depending on which movement you decide to cover up or how well you can actually disguise that movement. So just be careful with that, and there are some clothing restrictions for the in real life version. You have to be wearing like a jacket or something like that if you want to perform that version in real life, which is why I say this is more for social media. One more thing about the angles, the first variation is more like 100 degrees. When I say 180, I just think of my audience in front of me, but you can't really have anyone at your sides for that. So more like 100 degrees for that first variation. Is there any setup or DIY you have to do for this? Absolutely. Since this is an instant download, you do have to construct the gimmick for yourself. That being said, there is an impromptu version that you could do. That's the one where you're seated at a table. But if you're doing the social media version, that's going to take a little bit of a gimmick. You can make it out of stuff you have lying around the house. I'm sure you have that stuff that you need. So don't worry about having to go out and buy stuff as long as you've made a magic gimmick before. Or maybe if you haven't, you probably still have these items lying around your house. So that is probably going to take you about, I'd say, 10 minutes to construct your gimmick, maybe even 5 minutes, not even that. It's really easy to do, not difficult at all. Is this examinable? Well, the card's going to vanish, so no, the card's not examinable because it's gone. Now, if they want to examine it beforehand, they could do that with the impromptu version, but with the social media version, you're not going to have anyone there to examine it. And for the final version in real life, that one cannot be examined either because you have to have a gimmick card for that. Are there any negatives when it comes to performing the Godly Vanish 2.0? My main negative with this is that it's mainly for social media, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but they are advertising an in-person version, which you could do, and it would work depending on how your angles are, but I don't feel comfortable doing that version just because I don't usually wear a jacket, and I don't really want to worry about my angles that much or covering up something for this effect when I'm performing or using a gimmick card. It's kind of like the gecko, if you know what that is. That's kind of similar to the in-person version, so I don't really feel comfortable doing that. It's just not my style of magic or anything like that. But if you're into wearing jackets and making things vanish, then by all means, I guess you could do that one. But my negative is that it's mainly for social media, so there. I'm going to stop talking now. I'm not going to jabber on any longer. I'm doing it. Okay, I'm done. That's the negatives. What are the positives to performing the Godly Vanish 2.0? Well, I love that they did include so many different variations on this download. I think that's a nice touch because some people do perform in different environments. So I appreciated learning different ways to actually do this Godly Vanish that take different angles and take them into consideration and things like that. But if you see me performing this, it will be on social media, not really a thing that I want to do in person. What does this retail as? Well, it currently retails as $15 US, and is it a fair price? Kind of. I would have liked to see this price more at like $12, I think, just because I don't see myself using that last variation, but not to say nobody else is going to use it, just me personally. So I would say probably more like $12, but still decent price for 3 different variations. What would I give this out of 10? I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. The reason it's getting docked is because of the angles and the cards not being examinable for some of the variations, but I do enjoy that they included 3 different variations for this, so that's why it's getting that score. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to purchase the Godly Vanish 2.0, the link for it is in the description down below. Now also in the description is a link to my Instagram page. There you can follow me on Instagram at TowerLancerMagic. There I post all sorts of behind the scenes, Q&As, polls, all sorts of stuff, especially on my stories. I'm really active on my Instagram story, so check that out if you wouldn't mind it. It'd mean the world to me. Thank you so much. It really does mean the world that you're even here right now listening to me say that. You made it to the end of the video, so thank you so much for that. And also thank you to Orko, Guha for sending me this product so I could do the review for you beautiful people out there. So thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another Magic video I post sometime soon. See ya!